Okay, I think we are live. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon to wherever you are. Welcome back to the L1X AMA. We have a special guest today. That's Mike. Mike, how are you doing, man?
I'm doing a lot better. Yeah. Haven't been great over the last few couple of months, but good now. I think getting a lot better. So.
Nice, nice. How are you catching up with your health? I know that you've for the last few days you've been working hard on things that we are working on. But how are you doing otherwise?
Yeah, good. I think got past most of it's dealt with, so I think all good now. So looking forward to getting back into the swing of it. So
Nice, nice. Leona, what about you? What have you been up to?
Yeah, I've been working on the swap side of things. Basically, the direct swaps were out, and moving towards getting the APIs together. That's it. Just want to get it out to the exchanges.
Hmm. Good. Okay. I've been pretty, flat out with things as well because from the API side, right? Just a bit of information over here. There are certain APIs that were required apart from what we actually had, and we took that opportunity basically to create a more robust and secure API management system. Where even not only aggregators but even other projects can earn affiliate fees out of those APIs. So we are expecting to complete that API by the 15th of November. So that's when we expect to complete it. And following week, once it's completed, that's when we will be releasing the official documentation for any project wanting to come and build with us. But in the meanwhile, of course, Mike, has gained traction again, and will be working. I mean, Mike will be working with me closely on approaching businesses to use those APIs for the swaps. So that's a good thing. Okay, all right. I think let's get into the questions, shall we? All right. So the first one is, how does the team decide what to open source without giving away the intellectual property of L1X to prevent copycats? Um, I think this question is really very important because since we started the development of the protocol, and even today, apart from the strength of the community, the tech is where most of the heavy lifting of the protocol is done. And we have been very careful from the very beginning who we give access to the code. And more importantly, our IP is protected by open source non-compete, and suggested by MME law. We took that up pretty seriously, and we've been following that since then. On the other hand, if you think about, I was going through this certain videos recently on interoperability on YouTube, and I think one of the clarification that we also need to have over here is that interoperability over here, and the code, right? The strength of the code comes from how decentralized the protocol can be, because effectively what L1X and Xtalk infrastructure would be positioned as from the outside world is more like a bank, the Xtalk infrastructure. And I mean, why do you think someone would choose Xtalk versus the other guys, right? The same concept around how much more decentralized can you be. So our code, on the other hand, where we've got the L1X infrastructure and we've got the Xtalk infrastructure that has to be decentralized further. We've got 150 nodes now. Our strengths come from that. So even when we are speaking to businesses about integrating these APIs, although Xtalk nodes are not hosted by people yet, but Xtalk does borrow its decentralization or virtual machine power from L1X, which is again decentralized with the nodes. That's how it makes it more secure. And the more decentralized it gets, there will be people who might come and build like an application layer on top of it to do a certain task associated to maybe moving messages across different systems that we don't support yet. So that's how I take it up. I don't take it up as they would copy and build the same system. I think building on top of it is where most of the applications coming on would be positioned. Okay. The next one is update on the financial audits. The financial audits, Lionel and I, we had to gather a lot of information to be given to the auditor, and we have given the information. Now, that's something I don't have direct control over. I don't control, how much time the auditors take. I can't ask them, to speed up the process. I can't ask them to change things for me. This is an independent, group that's doing the audit process, that's liaising with the accounts team, and they are taking their time to do the audit. But I am confident that in the next 3 to 4 weeks, we should have a full-fledged audit report prepared by them that includes the financial statements, which will also include where the money was spent. That being said, of course, we have our own management reports, but I would rather give out the audited reports, because the management report, again, comes down to the fact that, okay, is this even true, what we have actually built? Maybe we are wrong, but the auditors, I'm sure that they will give you a precise report on each and every dollar coming in and each and every dollar spent. So we are waiting on them for that audit report. All right. The second question is, if we could get some of the major wallets, Tangem, MetaMask, etc., to adopt our swap, the volume would be significant. What is the remaining work needed to position us for that? And is the team exploring this? Two parts to this. What is the remaining work there? It's mainly the APIs, because at this particular stage, we do have the core infrastructure where the nodes are being hosted. And similarly, like a centralized exchange, right, they will go and do their own audit as and when required. But at the same time, when you look at the integration process, let's just talk from what is remaining and the integration process. When you talk from that perspective, if you look at someone like dBridge, for example, or any other bridge out there, they have a very closed loop API model where you have to send them the transaction, where you got to query so many different things attached to it. When you are connecting your wallet with us, because the direct swap has only 2 different contracts, if you are swapping between 2 different networks, right, that's when the complexity increases of the API. So in our case, even if the integration does not happen, let's say, even if the hardware wallets do not even integrate, some of them say that, okay, they've already chosen a provider. What will happen over here is we are working on a deterministic wallet address. And even right now, the wallet address is very deterministic, where if you want to go from ETH to Binance, when you send ETH, that wallet address is known. It's not going to change. So from that perspective as well, people from hardware wallets can actually swap. It doesn't have to be integrated. Now, that's the beauty about this, because instead of you going on a website and trying to do the swap, if you just have the wallet address in your MetaMask saved as a contact, that allows us to go and allow the user to use the swap service without even integration. And this was very important to us when we decided to go with direct swap, because we don't want to be held into a limbo where if somebody doesn't integrate, does it stop the users from using our swap service? So it had to be pretty flexible. As long as the user is aware that this is the wallet address he can send it to, I think that's where this works. Coming to the second question, how does, or are we exploring these options? So a couple of weeks ago, I did mention that there is a unique layer 1 that is working with us to integrate Xtalk infrastructure. Now that unique layer 1 happens to have their own Chrome extension wallet as well. And that Chrome extension wallet also requires a swap service. So we are going to integrate our swap service with them. Now, that's still at the discussion stage. Nothing has been completely finalized. First, we are going to work on integrating them into the Xtalk infrastructure. And the second part would be using our swap service in the wallet. Now, once the APIs are out, integrating swap service in the wallet, for any application is not going to take more than 24 to 48 hours, because there's just one API that you require, to let your user do the swap. And I definitely think that these APIs are going to be the secret sauce for us, pushing the scalability, because building the applications around layer 1x, there is one thing that we can do to build generic applications like marketplaces, launchpads, which we actually went and built with Shuffle, or build games with Galaxia, right? But I think the real adoption is going to come from scaling these APIs with the swap, which directly is building ecosystem around layer 1x anyways, because you can't perform a swap with the API until and unless you do a transaction on layer 1x. So that's the way we are thinking about how these APIs are going to help us, scale the ecosystem and process more transaction than what is expected. Because at the end of the day, if you look at the swap market, if you study the swap market, the top 17 bridges control 90% of the volume. And if you look at the top 5 bridges, they control 50% of the volume. But when you look at the bridges that rank from 18 to 30, some of them also have in between 1 and 3% of the market share, and they have launched later than April this year. Now, why have they gained the market share? And if you do a study on that, one of the major reasons was that they had immense amount of liquidity available from the very launch of their bridge. So if we don't have that immense amount of liquidity from the very beginning of their launch, what we are actually hedging upon are two things. One is the APIs that allow you to integrate into your applications directly, right? And pursuing that. And the other one, of course, is the other one, of course, is the ability to take these kind of APIs and integrate it into your product infrastructure. So it's not just allowing your users to perform swaps, but if you wanted to have your own token into the swap process, even that APIs will be used to launch your token on layer 1x or on Xtalk infrastructure and make it interoperable, similar like the new layer 1 that we are trying to integrate with. So these are the two aspects that we, at the end of the day, we find are important to, help us scale along with the use case of the API. Yeah, Mike or Leo, you have. I definitely think that APIs are definitely the secret sauce of this, because it's targeting the whole ecosystem development, where projects are so much used to grants, and until you don't raise $100 million, you can't satisfy these grants. So what's the alternative except something like that?
The easier you make it for projects and organizations to connect and transact, the easier it is for them to get involved in adding crypto to their product, or for crypto projects to actually start trading properly. My history in across IT throughout the world, APIs are probably one of the biggest things that came in throughout that time. They just enable users or developers to plug into products. If you look at Windows, it's full of APIs. You actually don't get the Windows source code. Microsoft won't release it, nor should they. Nobody expects them to. But those APIs enable them developers to do whatever they want, whenever they want.
That's right. Okay, I think Leonor, I think it's your question next.
Yeah. So next question is by MasterChef. So it's about moving the NFT usernames, basically transferring it, because they have it on their Ledger connected wallet. So yes, you will be able to transfer your username to a different address if you have minted it. If you have not minted it yet, or if you have any trouble with that, get in touch with me or even Super Beans, and he'll help you to complete the minting process, and you should be able to transfer to your X wallet. The next question by MasterChef is basically on the adding more functionalities to the X wallet, where users can purchase L1X or even do the swaps. Yes, that is our long-term goal, but short-term goal right now is just focusing on swaps, and the whole team is working towards the swaps. And once we complete that, once we have some bandwidth, we'll definitely work towards the X wallet. Or maybe if we have another project who is partnering up with us, they can definitely help us reach that goal that you have mentioned. The next question is for you, Kevin.
Yeah. Okay, thanks for that. All right. So the next one is, can we do a call between L1X team, including Kevin and investors? Yeah, I think I've already started scheduling meetings with certain investors from tomorrow onwards. Actually, I've got certain calls with groups, certain calls individually. Some of them have reached me out on Twitter through messages. So yeah, so we have already started. So I'm personally, getting in touch with them. Mike is also getting in touch with them to speak to them. And I think I prefer it that way, because at least an hour with me, right? I can give you insights that, that will really probably change, or maybe update your notion of what's actually going on, right? Because there's quite a bit of things going on at the back. Definitely, it takes its time to reflect on the price, but there is a lot of things going on at the back that we're trying to do. So yeah, hit me up on Twitter, or hit up Super Beans or Lionel on Discord, and we will set up that call for you. Okay. The next one is, the team plans to raise funds from VC at what price, and from which pool would be used to sell these coins to VC? All right. So with regards to the bonus coin, the rights issue, and the strategy of the swaps moving forward, which is the business plan of the swaps moving forward. Next week we are going to have an hour-long discussion only on this. So next week we won't be taking in any questions. We will just be focusing on these three things. We have nailed down a document or a strategy that's into a document now, but we are looking at it again and again, just to make sure that it has taken quite a bit of time to come to that strategy. And having these advisors on board, and also speaking to certain institutional investors who are willing to underwrite the offer. And when I say the meaning of underwriting, that means of course there will be a bonus structure in place for the community, but by just giving out coins and not raising any money for the development of the swap, right, and the marketing of the swap, is not going to solve either purpose. So we are working on a strategy that works for the community and works for the development of the swaps. So hang in there. Same time, so that even if you have any I just want you to take that strategy, consume it, and if you have any questions, we will follow up again on that. So I'll go through it, and then we will release the documents, so that you have a clearer understanding on why the strategy has been set up, and why so many advisors said the same thing, right? Okay. The next one is, what happened to giving us options with a view to issuing us early investors with more coins to bring our coin price down? As I mentioned, the bonus rights and the rights issue with underwriting and the business plan on the swap, we will discuss it in the coming week. We are down even then 1 cent. Team said they are planning to push it back to 10 cents, but I see prices are falling badly. Is there no plan to push the price? If yes, then when? Will these prices not affect VC funding? As we can see at these prices, our market cap would be very, very low. Ronak. Yeah. I did see that, and you know, the majority of these coins, as I mentioned to you previously, I mentioned to you 8 weeks ago the same thing, which is the expert bonus coins, which were issued at $0, right? And these are the coins that are actually moving towards the exchanges. And we have insights on this right now. There is not a lot of depth on the liquidity. So even if there is a process of going and buying up to a certain stage, the price would be higher. Like it's, I don't really, I don't really believe that the price right now is a reflection on its true value, right? Um, but that being said, I sincerely believe that even if you take a look at any, let's just take a look at outside, right? Let's just take a look outside at someone like Algorand, right? Algorand never came up to the price they launched at. The token is 98% down since they launched, right? And that doesn't directly reflect on where it's going to go, right? There's quite a lot of community building happening around Algorand even right now. You take Definity, for example, right? Similarly, around Definity, it has never reached the price it had launched at. You take Wormhole protocol, you take so many other protocols that I can keep going that are in the top 50 or top 100 of the cryptocurrencies in the world that have never reached. That doesn't mean that they are not going to grow beyond this phase. So at this particular moment, think of layer 1x as AWS, decentralized AWS, if you may, in a way where the fees collected through these transactions are not significantly high, where these amounts can be taken and pushed back to buy the coins. It's not going to be that significant. The other alternative is us actually proving that these swaps work, right? And when these swaps are actually functioning and these APIs come through and allow the other applications to integrate with it, that's the time we push for that marketing over there from the B2B side rather than exclusively on B2C. So over a period of time, and in the business plan that you will see in the coming week, from the swap, there is a certain part kept to go and buy the layer 1x coin. Not to say that there is no one. We are not looking at options to get the price up to 10 cents or 15 cents to go and keep buying. If it were up to me, I would have gone and bought all the coins from the market, like, because I definitely think it's crazy low, right? And the revenues coming in from the swaps can have have very good potential. Like if you look at the if you look at the growth rate, right? Um, so we want to align the price of the coin and the swap growth together. That's what we want to do. And if you look at the whole bridging market, or the swap market, it has grown 20,000 times in the last 2 years, 20,000%, right? And it's expected to go to $1 trillion in the next 2 years, 2 to 3 years. So by aligning our path on the swap market and the price is where I think the long-term sustainability will be there. So the next one is, in your honest opinion or knowledge, who is selling L1X coins below 0.01? Definitely, it's the expert bonus coins. There's These are the accounts that these coins are being distributed to, and these are the guys selling the coins. But that being said, December is the month where they mature at 20 million coins, right? In the tokenomics document, which we have already released, these numbers are present there. So when it comes to December, these 20 million coins are going to mature. It's not going to go above after that. So we know there are only that many coins going out. Previously, the plan was to go and buy out these coins, and it's not completely removed from our strategy. But at this stage, we definitely believe that right now we need to focus on the swap. We need to push this utility, get eyes on the swap. That's what we are aiming to do. Hmm. Um, can we, okay, the next one is, can we get a list of distributors wallet and teams wallet for transparency sake? Would appreciate this sooner rather than later. I think a distributor wallet is already open sourced. Like if you go and see the distribution happening on a daily basis, and I think one of the question is about the distributor funds not replenished properly. I think Lionel will answer that, but that is already open sourced. From the team perspective, I have not even created my own wallet because the cliff is 12 months, right? Nor has Mike created his wallet, nor have we given him any coins. He's been asking for it, but we're not given any coins to Mike as of yet. So the team doesn't have any coins to sell, right? We don't have any coins that we can go and push, and we wouldn't. I know the team pretty well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. The next one is for you.
Yeah, so it's mentioned by 47 saying someone is sending million tokens, moving funds. So just to give you a clear idea, maybe every couple of days you might see those number of tokens moving around. I am the one who moves it around. Usually I fund all the distributors and stuff when they're low on balance, so that all the experts and all the bonuses are met. But what we'll be doing is soon, I'm hoping by end of next week, it was already discussed in the previous AMAs as well. We will be listing all the updates and we will be adding all the distributor addresses as well. So anytime we go and change or stop using an address or we update an address, you will be able to go and get all the information over there. Now, if you are after a particular address and if you need more information, we are happy to look into it. But just get in touch with Super Beans or drop me all those addresses and I will look into it personally. But I'm the one who handles most of the wallets that has more than 1 million tokens. And I fund it every alternate days to the developers who are responsible to send out the coins. Yeah, I think
Okay,
the next
thanks for that.
question is for you, Kevin.
Yeah. Okay, so it's by Bibli, word to word. There is a lot that has gone wrong with this project, but it sounds to me like we actually have the best cross-chain swap in crypto. That is a strength, and it should be getting massive use. Can we focus more on promoting that to get positive interest in this project? Um, I attended this conference by PNG, Papua New Guinea. And one of the statement that the prime minister made was, about, of course, the crypto adoption. What he made was, PNG is a very, very new country, right? And in terms of, L1X, it's just been 5 months since we launched the token, right? And of course, there are many projects out there that have the price has reduced, but it has also gone back up, right? Because at times it takes a little bit, it takes more time to go and demonstrate this utility to the overall, space. From the swap perspective, I don't think that it is our strength. I definitely know it is our strength, and that's why we are trying to push the swap. Now, to push the swap, there are a couple of things that we need in our toolbox to do it. First is, the liquidity pool, right? And when you compare the liquidity pool with us versus the other guys, right, that's a huge gap, right? Some of them starting at $100 million, $200 million liquidity pool, right? So if we had $100 million, would we go and put millions in marketing? 100%, right? Because we know we're going to get that money back through fees, right? But what is the middle ground here? Right? What's going to take us from stage one to stage two? If we don't have $100 million, if someone is willing to write a check for $100 million, right, for marketing, for the pools, and then we push it for marketing, yes, 100%. But we don't have that, right? And we got to keep going. We can't stop. right? We can't stop, we can't stall, we can't close this out, right? So we are going to push this forward. And more importantly, from the swap perspective, we have taken a different route. Rather than focusing exclusively on B2C, our focus is going to be B2B, where business development, like new layer ones and new wallets wanting to integrate with us, them using this software or them using this tech allows us for state sponsored pools. Now, think of it like, the state sponsored pools are done by the destination networks. Like, you have state sponsored railway bridges, right? State sponsored so many different types of schemes coming out. And these state sponsored pools is what's going to help us get that liquidity coming in. So if a new chain, a new project wants to actually make their token accessible on Xtop, these state sponsored pools allow us to grow the liquidity pool beyond what we just have in the house kept for us. So we want to get to a base liquidity pool that makes sense. When you push the swaps from the B2C angle, right? They can go and swap, or the B2B angle, where we know with these projects there is a state-sponsored pool available, and we push that out apart from the other tokens that they can use with us to perform the swaps. That's the route we are taking, because at the end of the day, I get a lot of comments about, okay, you're doing good, it's a good tech, but nobody knows. It's a good tech, nobody knows. Yeah, sure, it's been 5 months, right? If you're trying to compare it with the likes of Polkadot, you're trying to compare it with the likes of, Algorand, the likes of Solana out there. Well, they've spent hundreds and billions of dollars in marketing, right? And just to give you an example, and I can't make this up, the amount of money Target Finance and bridges like Ronin Bridge spent on auditing is twice the amount than what we raised on only auditing, right? But that being said, it's not an excuse. It takes a different set of skills to run something when you have no fuel left, or you have very little fuel left from the very beginning. But I've always been predominantly saying this, which is this is a long-term play. This is not a 5-6 months analysis play, right? Why is it down in 5 months? This is a long-term play, and it's going to take a little while, but we are onto it, right? We are here to push this forward, and that is why the innovation in the direct swaps. And I am personally working on the Bitcoin and the Tron integration to be streamlined as much as possible from the swap perspective. Okay, I think the next one is yours.
Yeah, so it's about the price for running a couple of nodes. It says 160 US a month. Yes, I know you are using DigitalOcean, and DigitalOcean is expensive, and I'm assuming you have a backup as well, so it's costing you more. Usually it's $48 per month for a single node, but the alternative that we have is Contabo. I think people are running it under $10-15 a month US. You can definitely switch to it. The only catch over there is it does not have a good interface. That's why you're paying higher on DigitalOcean, and even the support over there. But get in touch with me. I will reduce it to less than $50 a month for you, as I've always helped you to set up on DigitalOcean as well. So it's hardly going to take 15-30 minutes to sort it out. Get in touch with me, please. Thank you.
Okay, good. All right, the next one is about the single staking. So I think today marks the year, right, since we started so if you
You're freezing up there.
going to unstake and you do have an issue over there,
He's bad internet connection over there.
Freeze. Yeah.
Yeah. Right, so let me pick up that question. Just give me 1 second.
Yeah, he should be back in a minute.
Yeah. Okay, so it's single staking. Why can't I withdraw my funds? If it's so right now the staking that's implemented, you can easily go and you can unstake whenever you want. But if you have been a part of V1 and if your funds are still stuck or if you have any issues, yes, the tickets sometimes when it comes to um, staking, the developers take a bit of time to go and investigate the previous transactions. But if it's been there for a very long time, the ticket, please get in touch with Superbeans and give me 48 hours. I will complete the transaction for you. Basically, I'll help you unstake and I will send out the rewards as well that were supposed to be out. I think that's the only question by
Yeah,
Matt.
Kevin's had
that
some
was in
internet
there.
issues. He's coming back now, mate.
Okay.
Give it a minute or so.
Yeah, sorry. Damn, internet here is disgusting. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So with the single staking, I think today marks the whole year. So if you are having any issues, open up a ticket. We will look into it. But everything is on the contract, so you should be able to do it as well. Okay. Then the other one is how about having Discord live events? You know, to interact and speak with the community. Mike, do you wanna take that one? Yeah, you're already unmuted.
Okay. I think it comes down to availability. So now I'm back online. I'll jump back in there into Discord and start seeing if we can answer some questions. I think one thing to remember is that I think there's been a couple of people out there on Discord who've been fairly negative. I'll respond to decent questions and follow them up and see what we can come up with. But the whole idea there is to get people back onto Discord and discussing the capabilities, the cross-chain swaps, the speed, all of those items in there, and we start doing some more comparisons across through the other chains. That's what we really need to do.
Yeah, I think having these live events is great, and we used to do it before for sure. But also the fact, demonstrating the swaps and doing those comparisons in the live events is something that I'd love to do, because I did see in Discord in the swap log channel, there are people going and trying to swap. They're happy with the direct swap as far as I've seen the content. So that's good to hear. Like at least our community members are using the swap. So if you ever need to swap, please go to L1X app and do your swaps, right? It is there for a reason. Push our product as much as you can out there. I think I got disconnected when I was trying to answer the single staking question, and if I get disconnected again, I apologize. So it's been a year today, I think, when the single stake from a year. So if you go in there and try to unstake, open up a ticket, the fastest way to close a ticket for you is give out all the details, that as much as details that you have. So it helps us identify your stake, and see what issue is there. So when you stake, how much you staked, So based on that, we can solve your tickets up. It's all in the contract. It's all configured in the contract. So yeah, I think those are all the questions I've got here. Is there anything else you'd like to discuss, Leonard or Mike?
No, I think one of the comments I did read earlier, and I know you covered it, Kevin, is as we're moving out and focusing more on the B2B side, promoting not just the fact that we've got the ability to swap between chains, but also the speed in comparison to others. Those items are key. It's the scalability, the speed, the security, and true interoperability. They're the key items, and we just need to keep focusing on that as we move forward, which are. And and as we promote out there. And we also ask the community to make sure they are doing the promotion as well, wherever they can. You can sit there and complain on Discord and say, oh, where is it, what's going on? Or you can get out there and promote it. And that's probably the best way to get the word out there more.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, you want to say something?
Yeah. So, I mean, if you have any issues with the swap or stuff, I am personally monitoring it like at least 17, 18 hours a day, like, what's going through. If there are, and now what we have done is we have actually got, you know, we are building up an infrastructure using third-party applications where we are actually trying to get the logs, like, when an error is created, so we get a better understanding. Because last few weeks, what used to happen is users get an error and we are not able to replicate it. So that's where we are stuck. And if it's happening well at our end, it should work well at the user's end as well. But there are many factors that come into picture when the user or you're using it at a different location, your operating system, your browsers and stuff. So we are trying to like improve it as much as we can from our end, so that by the time we are out to the exchanges, it works flawless.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think there are a couple of questions. So one is, who is selling millions of tokens on Mexi? Please send me the transaction hash where you see millions of tokens being transferred to Mexi.
Yeah.
I did get the question, but where is the transaction hash? Right. So if you do see, I don't think there are. I mean, whatever coins are going out at this stage are as scheduled, and most of them are the bonus coins, right? Non-expert coins, the bonus ones. So those are the coins that you see. But please send the transaction hash. When you send such a message, I want to answer it as much as I can. But if you have the transaction hash, I can open it up and get into it to see. I think Leono, the next one was one of them was for you, which was the wallet paying L1X staking keeps running empty and not paying. I think we discussed about this. Do you want to?
Yeah, so usually, as I mentioned, we do the transfers, we keep on rotating. It's for security reasons, right? Now it keeps running empty, but the thing is, if you have not received your reward, like your reward coins or your particular day of stake, just wait for 48 hours more, because sometimes what happens is, the number of records the script goes through, there might be a chance of failure, but we repeat it every 24 hours just to calculate the failed transactions, right? So please send us details, like, if you have missed something. And yes, the treasury is always rotated after set number of days, so you will definitely find it empty.
I think someone is trying to ask a question, but I can't see the question. It's giving me a link.
Okay,
if you have a
that's the
question, can you
Discord.
please if you just paste it there. Okay. Anyways, from my side, I kind of, I had a meeting with Beans, of course, and about the content being passed around Discord in the general chat. We, at the end of the day, all of us wanted to work, and us be spending 18, 19, 20 hours a day, some days, no weekends off, right? Like, and we wanted to work as much as you guys, right? But it just becomes very hard when there is a lot of negativity going on Discord, when the new investors go in there or the new users go in there to try the swaps, right? So at one place we can definitely sit and discuss about what went wrong, and everything is not working out in such a way as it should have been. Why has it not made me a millionaire yet? I invested 10 grand, I should have been a millionaire by now. This was my retirement plan. I get all these things, right? I completely understand. But on the other flip side, it's not that we aren't doing anything about it. We are trying to focus on the swaps because that's where we know our strength is, and we are trying to push that. And I think, probably on Discord, you've got Beans, you've got, Leo here, Mike, myself. We are the people who, from the beginning until now, we've always tried to make it work without giving excuses out, and sticked on until this stage where, there are so many excuses that could have been given out, but we are here fighting each and every day, answering every question as it comes, and pushing it right with all we got. So either you can get on board and work with us to do it, either you stand out and try to throw stones, but at the end of the day, we are all in the same and on the same dock, right? We all want to reach that destination together, right? So I think if we try to move the criticisms around the swap from now on, right, I think that will definitely help. So if the swaps are not working, if you have some kind of suggestion on the feature that we don't actually have right now, something around that, because the last time somebody recommended about the aggregators, we've picked it up and we are focusing on that. Like, our focus has been the aggregators in the B2B right now, and that seemed to be working with us, right? So I think that's where those kind of criticism as to business building criticism helps, right? Where is the marketing, where is X, Y, and Z? These are all abstract questions where we know we need to do that, but we need to be in a certain place to do that, right? I wouldn't want to be, I'm not, from the very beginning, I'm not the person who wants to be at the forefront of it, at the face of it, and try to push myself out there, right? And anyways, I think one of the other questions that came up was the confidence level, right? Which is, I think, Agent 47, and I think you're right, which is, can we get someone else to run this, except me being the CEO? First of all, I think we don't have a CEO. I am the founder. Two things to this, right? I have to say, actually three. The first one is we did hire a marketing team. We had a marketing team. We did work with agencies, right? And you saw what came out of that, right? And not to blame anyone, but it's definitely a complicated tech that needs to be explained, right? The second one is, with the minimal amount of resources, any fool can grow a business with money, right? But with the amount of minimal resources, it is extremely hard to build what we are actually trying to do, right? Where there are projects giving out millions of dollars in grants, right? As I just mentioned to you, some of these audits cost twice as much as what we raised, right? And the third one, and I think very importantly, I wanted to mention this, is if the community feels and it finds someone who can do the executive side, or even the tech side, as a matter of fact, right? Executive and tech side better than I can, right? And the community votes for it, I am happy to step down. But that comes with a lot of risk associated, because one thing is, we did have people who had more experience than me, who were in the space longer than me, who had more connections than me, right? And they were given complete authority to do things. And that's one of my fault, which was they didn't do a job that they were hired to do, right? So if the community thinks that you can get a better person to do the executive and the tech, and you guys vote for it, I am happy to step down and let that person take it up. But one thing is for certainty, that anybody coming in, and the kind of place we are in right now, right, with the minimal resources, trying to push this, even with resources, people are having a hard time, right? But with minimal resources, I feel I have lived my life with minimal resources before, as a kid and growing up. So will that person sell their house to push this, right? Would they? So at the end of the day, we are getting advices and trying to push this. But anyways, as I said, some of you, I think, of course, there are majority of you have belief in my vision, and that's how we've got here today, along with the community and the team's help. But it's definitely a very delicate position at this stage where layer one exists, and that is why I'm taking my time. I'm working hard in the back to make sure that we don't make wrong moves right now that we can't spend more time to correct, right? That's why the ultimate focus in the swaps. So, but as I said, if you do find someone and the community thinks that, if the majority of the community thinks, because this is all of our product at the end of the day, if the majority of the community thinks that there is someone with these resources who can write it on a piece of paper and say he can do a better job and promises you guys to get reimbursed if he doesn't do well, I am happy to step down that very moment. Yeah. And I hope that happens. I hope that happens, because at the end of the day, I want it to work, regardless of who does it, right? But at this stage, I am here. I'm trying to do it as much as I can. So let's just work with that until you find another replacement. Yeah, that's what I wanted to say about that question. And again, I didn't feel bad or something. I think it's just it just doesn't make sense sometimes. That an outsider would do as much as you would. Okay. Anything else, Chief or Leo?
No, that's about it. I think you said it very well there before. If somebody wants to take on the reins, absolutely, come on in. They've got a hell of a job to do, though.
At least I don't know, or I can't think of anyone. If there would have someone who already existed who can do that, he would have started long back, or maybe in parallel, I would say.
Yeah.
But yeah, here we are.
Yeah. And again, I know majority of you have believed in my vision from the very beginning. Like 95% of you are in here for the vision and what you see today, right? Because of me. And I'm not going to let you down. One thing I need you guys to believe is, we are doing everything we can to push it. Everything. Right? There's nothing we are leaving unturned. We are doing each and everything, and that's how we have even survived in this whole massacre that's going on. We are still here trying to push the direct swap, right? And it takes time sometimes. It's going to work, right? So if there are constructive criticisms about the fact that you can give us on the swaps, that will be very helpful, right? So please give us the constructive criticisms on the swaps. And if you are an investor and you want to speak to me one-on-one, what I would recommend is this: try to create a team of at least 3 people, 3 or 3 to 5 or 6 people, and try to set up a call with me. I'll at least like to explain in that 1 hour what I'm trying to do here to push this forward, right? And slowly we will get that sorted out. Okay, I think that was pretty much it. If I did not answer your question, I apologize. Please keep it for the next AMA. But until then, next week, let's sit and discuss about the bonus and the rights issue, and let's discuss about the swap business plan moving forward. Right? And I love some criticisms on that. I would love it if you come up with some over there. Okay, no problem.
Okay.
Thanks, guys.
And
Thanks for your time.
Thank you.
Halloween.
Bye.
Yeah.